Hi everyone.
Hey.
Welcome to the day 4, right?
Yeah.
Cool. Day 4 of 30 days of React. Thanks everyone for turning up. And today we have Nikita here and I'll ask her to introduce. So go on, Nikita. Tell about yourself.
Yeah. Hey guys. Thank you for having me, Praveen. Hope everyone is in good health. I'm Nikita Raghuwanshi, a junior Java developer from India and pursuing BTech in CSE second year. I'm interested in web design and development and learning new stuff. And I love programming. And right now I'm focusing on learning web development, especially front-end development. And yeah, I love to learn from people. So we are here to learn about a simple connected component in React.
Cool. That's an awesome introduction. So that is awesome. So you have done a lot of achievements as well, and you have been like extremely good with learning something new and stuff like that. So that's exactly the right thing and best thing for you. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So without further delay, we'll just quickly recap what we did yesterday. So I believe, okay, I keep forgetting things. So I'll just need some time to like recollect. So yesterday we talked about states and props, right? Now let's forget about React for some time and let's go into a basic JavaScript. Okay, so I believe Nikita will be happy to look at the JavaScript code as well, so it will be easier for her because she's also a beginner. And let me share my screen and take you through this one. Are you all able to see my screen? I have just opened up jsben.com. Okay.
Yeah, everyone is able to see.
Yes, great. Looks good. So let me go for this. So now I've just got the simple, like a simple HTML. So if we try to create a simple form, what are we going to do? So what kind of a form shall we create, Nikita? And what all details can we add in a form?
We can add some form detail like normal.
Let's say username and password, something like that.
Yeah, something normal form details.
So what we generally do here is, let's go with
first name, last name.
Okay, let's add a label first, and then inside that I'll just put an input text, and here it looks like this, right? So I don't need IDs. So let's also use a strong first name, then just copy and paste everything. We are lazy. Last name, email, password. Okay, 4 things. Let's use last name, then email, then password. And this is the only thing that is going to change as password, and others will be using like okay. So let's go back, go to the name attribute, and let's use this one. Okay, so these has some names as well. So for these names, I'll just remove the spaces. So we got something like this. Okay, this doesn't look really good, right? Let's make them look good. Let's also add a h1 saying like hello, something like this. So for everything, I'm just gonna do box sizing border box, and gonna say font family as open sans so that it looks good. Okay, first thing I want is for this h1, I don't want it to be like so many margins. So let's actually get rid of the margins here. Then line height as 1 as well, so that it looks perfect. So h1 font weight, I want it in 600, not so huge. And let's put body, yes, font size 10 points. Then so this kind of looks okayish, or maybe 1.5 looks good. Now with respect to the form, I want to give some margin top or margin 15 pixels on 0 so that it has something, or maybe fully margin 15px. The same way I'll put margin 15px here as well so that we get some good space here. Now let's also have the labels on its each, like form label and form labels strong, and they should have a font weight of 600 as well, and let them be on their own lines. Okay, let's give us some breaks. So this might give a good break. Now let's also have some spacing for this. Cool, that looks nice. So the reason why we are using label is if you click here, it's gonna select this whole input element, right? Yeah. So that looks really nice. So for now we have got these things. Now let's also see how we are going to access these form elements. So we just need to access a couple of things. Just give me 1 second. Let's try to, okay, I guess I need to. So let's add some more margins here. As we know, like the extra margins will be really good. So now we can see that there is like a really nice way of doing things, right? So you have like, yeah, it looks really nice. Okay, so let's add one more element, which is the pre-formatted tag, so that we can see what exactly is there inside this. So for the pre, what I'm going to do is I'll put something like, what should I do? Okay, before that, I don't want to use multi-lines for these things. Okay, that is cool. Okay, that's great. So for pre-formatted, I'll do a border 1px, solid hash ccc, padding 3 maybe, and margin we did 15, right? Then we'll do a border radius of say 5px, and we already have line height 1, so this should actually work fine. Hello, and whatever I type in, it should be working fine. Okay, the only thing is it's the font family mono space. Cool. Okay, that looks good. So now what I'm gonna do is whatever I type here and press enter, so input submit I will put say sign up or something like this. We should need to have something that says great or something like that. So it should show me the contents of first name, last name, etc. Right? So that is our main idea. Now what I'm gonna do is I haven't started my JavaScript part yet. So let me see what I can do here. Okay. I was about to do something. I told, yeah, okay. Form input. So border 1px. P3 border radius. So generally, I guess a Bootstrap uses border radius of 4 pixels. So we'll use the same thing. And since 3 pixels, so this looks really nice. And apart from these things, what we need to do is we need to also get the input that's there to be cleared. So if you want to select a input that is directly under the form, what you can do is you can use this direct descendant operator, and this will help us in selecting the form directly. Okay, so now I'm just gonna put the same thing, almost the same thing, but with a different way. So let's add background color, maybe again sky blue. So maybe EEF, something like this. And border radius is actually too much here. 3 we will put, and let's add the padding lot, something like this, and we can do cursor pointer. So that looks really nice, right? So the moment I click on this one, something need to happen. Right now it is going to submit this form. Let's not allow that to happen. So what we will do is, so far whatever we have done is the CSS part. Now let's use jQuery. jQuery is a nice library. It used to be a great library. After React has come now, it's no more usable or something like that. Have you used jQuery?
Hey, does React Bootstrap use jQuery?
Never. React and jQuery will never get like combined or something, because React is a complete virtual DOM manipulation engine and jQuery is completely a DOM manipulation engine. So they are like Coca-Cola and Mentos. When you try to put it inside, you'll only get an explosion. So from here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on add library. I'll do jQuery 2.2.4. And now the first thing that we do in jQuery is we need to execute everything, whatever script that we are writing, that needs to be executed using the document ready function. So let's use a function, and let's start with, okay. After this, see, we have the form, right? So we can as jQuery is a DOM manipulation engine, we can easily directly access the DOM and other things. So form.submit, then we use a function, and then if we do return false or event.prevent default, it will prevent the default behavior of a form, which is going to be submitting the form. So if I say, hey Nikita, and then if I try to put something here, and press enter, it's going to say me, hey Nikita. Okay. So that's exactly what I have done so far. Now with that, if I do something like, yeah, okay, this is interesting. So if I do something like, I want the values of these things to be coming here. So what I can do is, wait, I guess I forgot to add a BGC. Right. So I select the pre-formatted tag using .pre. And then if I type in HTML here and say like, hey, Nikita or something like that, and if I type something and press enter, I'm able to get this here. Okay. So far you are clear with that, right? So everyone is clear with that, right? So please add your questions on the live chat, and we both will try to answer it at the end of the session. Okay. So yeah, so that came here. So the first thing what we are going to do is we are going to get the first name, last name, everything. So again, I'm going to be a bit lazy here. So I'm just going to select all these things like this. Something or the other is actually messing up. Okay, let's see this way. Okay, cool. So I've got these 4 things, and what I want is I want them to be here, 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 here. So I'm just going to put first name, last name, all these things. And then here is where I'm going to put the real names here. So for example, if I just need to just paste it here. So I'll just remove this last name, remove this first name, copy this, copy this, copy this, and copy this. Can do like so I need to create all the variables here. Okay, so how we can do is I'll use var because this is the old HTML we are using. I'm going to use $hash, the same thing. I guess that is what we have given here, right?
Yeah.
So, but instead we have given the name here. So what we will do is we'll just make it into ID. And then we will try to give dot value for each. Oops. So in jQuery, you can use this dot val, which helps you in making getting the value. Okay, so this is the way you will be doing it. So if I say like say Nikita Raghuwanshi, email Nikita at what is your favorite company?
Google.
And so if I click on the sign up or press enter, see?
Yeah.
You get it this way. Okay, so this is what we are going to try using React. Okay, cool. Questions? Anything? Anyone else in the comments? Yeah, so on. Go on.
I think I want to ask something. Is it worth hashing password on the client side? Like, I just remembered from this password.
Sorry. Go on. Tell me again. I did not understand that.
When I want to put a login system in a place, and if I we saw now that we put it a name Nikita, and then we see our suggestions. So when we put a password, sometimes the suggestion also came. So is it worth hashing the password encrypted?
Okay. So that's actually a browser feature that actually brings up the password, something like, do you want to use this password or something like that? Most probably, are you talking about those things?
Yeah.
I guess that is fine and safe to use as long as you remember these things. But just remember, in case if you use those passwords, it gets actually stored up in the browser. And in case if you forget your browser or if you forget to take a note of the password, then the password is gone. That is the only problem that you might feel.
Okay. Yeah.
And I believe that the moment you change your computer's password, the login password, even then it will be gone.
Okay.
So these are a couple of things that you need to be aware of.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So let's try again. Let's try to do this one. So this is exactly what we are trying to do, right? And with that, so now we have added jQuery for these form data and all these things. Let's try adding some nice effects actually. Okay, let's try to use say Bootstrap or something like that, and let's do that. Okay, so for Bootstrap, what I would do is I'll just go to getbootstrap.com, and if I go to I'll go to bootstrapcdn.com. and I'll get the Bootstrap CSS. So far, I need to use only the CSS for now. Let me add the CSS here. Ooh, cool. Even before doing anything, it has become a good bit good. Okay, so all I had to do is like, let's, this is our own CSS, right? Like this is the CSS that we wrote here. So instead of these CSS, what I could have done is, so far everything is okay. All I would have done is like using this one. Now, if I go back to my, I guess for the strong and label, we could have left this way. Oh. For inputs, I could have used a form input. Okay, anyway, let's have the same CSS here, but we'll use something nice. Along with the CSS, we can also use a class name here. So this is class, not class name, because this is HTML. We'll use btn primary, boom, btn sm, for smaller button. So something like that. Or XS. There is no XS. Okay, there's only SM. Okay, cool. So we have got something like this. Now with that, even for this one, we can give it this 50% or something like that so that it looks better. Okay, cool. So this kind of like gets you the feel of Bootstrap as well. Just only this one we have used Bootstrap. Technically, there is no use of using Bootstrap in this. All right. So, right. So now we made it into Bootstrap. Let's try converting this whole thing into React.js. Ready?
Yeah, right.
So for that, as usual, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use react.new, and this will give me a nice code sandbox. But before that, I'll just copy this whole, what do you call this? I'll take the complete CSS part here.
Yeah.
And let me go to the style.css, put everything here, save it. The moment I save it, it will be opening everything in a nice way. Good. Now let me go to the app.css. Right. Cool. At this point, what I want to do is, let's bring whatever we had got here. So I'm just going to copy this whole thing and paste it over here. This is gonna shout at me because of the class name thing. Okay, I'm just gonna make it a bit big so that it is easier for looking at it. Okay, so we have got everything except the pre. We forgot the pre tag. Nice. So we've got all these things. Its class name is fine. Text ID, everything is okay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this whole stuff, convert this into a class component. So export default class app extends react dot component, or else I'll just make it as component. So auto import it. Then in the render function, I'm going to use return. Okay, that should work. Since we have got a lot of errors, maybe it stopped working. So now it has only 2 errors. Okay, so far everything is good, right? So we have got the CSS done, we have got the JS done, HTML done, and if I put anything here and click on the sign up, it's going to show me whatever is there here. Right. Sorry, any questions?
Yeah, I have a question.
Yeah.
Can we use multiple classes in class name?
Yes, you can. So for example, if you had seen this one, like for example, let me come get it back again. So if you see here, there are like 3 to 4 classes here, 3 classes here, BTN, BTN primary, BTN SM. So all these classes are separated by a space. That's how you use more than one class. Now we have got so far till this. Okay. So we have brought in the same HTML and CSS into the React part. No, wait. If I try to do something on this, how do I access the form elements? That's the only thing which I'm gonna look into. Okay. So let's have a quick look. At this point of time, if I also try to add something over here, for example, if I try to give a value like value equal to Nikita or something like that, yes, we have got it. But if I try to type something, it's not gonna work.
Yeah.
That's exactly the problem. Is that, like right now we can't even do anything here. So
why is this not working at all?
Because look at this. You provided a value prop to a form field without an on-change handler. This will render a read-only field. So whatever you type here, it's not going to work. The field should be mutable. That means if it should be usable or changeable, you should use default value. Otherwise, you need to set the on-change function. Okay, let me show what we need to do here. So now I'm going to also do an on-change function here. And it's a function, right? So we need to open up the JavaScript. So I'm using the double brace. Now, if I try to use console.log and e dot, what should I put here? E dot target dot value and save it. So what exactly is this e dot target dot value? So if I type something like hello, did you see that you can see the hello is being coming in or something like that?
Yeah.
But it is not getting saved because this one is taking precedence. So we need to somehow save this part and replace it with this. So whenever we want to, like we saw yesterday, whenever we want to see something that is changing, we can put it inside our states, right?
Yeah.
So that's exactly what I'm going to do now. So I'm going to try creating some states here. And this state, I'll just use the same like name. Okay. So we have first name. We have last name. We have email. We have password. Right?
Yeah.
Now I'm going to, instead of using the value here, I'm going to do this dot state dot first name. So we are getting the value here, right? So instead of using console.log, I'm going to change the state here. And set what? First name as e.target.value. Okay. Now if I type something, I'm able to type everything. Not only that, remember we did something with the pre-tag, right?
Yeah.
So this is what it needs to come in. We can do the same thing. So I'm just going to open up the JavaScript stuff. And this part is the part where I need to use JavaScript to replace everything. So I'm going to replace everything like this. Let's add these things here. So this should be last name. This should be first name. Okay, now these things are not defined, right? So these four stuff need to come from the state. So what we can do is inside the render function, we will do const all these things with a comma. Can be equal to this dot state. So all these things will be taken from the state. Now it's showing no problems. The moment I start typing something, I'm able to change the thing in the first name only because I haven't set these things to the last name or anything. So I'm going to copy this value, paste them here. This needs to be last name. Okay. So paste them here, paste them here. Okay. Now, if I type something, look at this. If I type anything, it's going to change everything here. Got it? So that should not be happening. So what am I supposed to do now? So there is, in this part, everything is going to affect the first name and everything is going to show the first name. So this is first name. Okay. This one is last name. This one is email. And this one is password. Let's type something. Cool. Done. Okay. To this extent, we have done. What do you think about it? Any questions?
Well, I have a question. Is there any other way to connect an input field to a state property in React than on change?
I guess this is the only way you can do it. If not states, you can use context. Context is something totally different. Like you'll be using a state management. One is Redux, one is context. So context is the other state management that you might use. Okay.
Okay.
So that is not going to be the right thing that we will be looking for. And we have other things as well. Oh, we are actually running out of time. So let's do it quick. So what is React mainly used for? You tell me.
React is a library. So
Correct. Any users why I should go for React? In your own words.
React. Well, of course, React save your times and money in development because it's a component based.
And are we using any components here? Look at it, how many copy paste we have done. So now we will see how we can reduce the number of copy pastes here.
Yeah.
Let's see. So we can create a kind of like a label component. Okay, so let's do this. Let's save this. And let's create a new component called label. And this is going to be a functional component. So export default. So this is going to be the props, and this should contain this particular label component, right? So let's use this. Okay, something's wrong here. What did I do here? Export default const okay, I just need to use something like this, I guess. Okay, so in that case what I will do is I'll just do label and const label equal to like this works. Okay, now here I'm taking in a label, I'm taking in an ID, taking in a value, I'm taking in an on change. 4 things I'm taking in. Okay, so a label or text ID, value, on change. Okay, there are 4 things I'm taking. So here it's going to be the text. Here okay, I just need to have this type as well, and we can get rid of this one. We can put the type, the ID. We can, I don't think we need any IDs anymore, so let's make it as name. We'll give ID here. So this is the value, and for on change we can directly give on change. Okay, cool, simple. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna replace this part, the first one. So I'm gonna use label, auto import it. Now for this, what all things that we have, so I'm gonna give the type first, text, text, it's gonna be ID, first name, then value. Okay, so these are the same thing that I need to use, so I'm just gonna copy and paste it here, but instead I'll be using this way. Okay, so now that is as similar as what we have got here. So if I remove this one, oh, I forgot to add the label or text. Okay, so we have got both the things perfectly, same thing, right?
Yeah.
So now the problem is I've got the same stuff. Do you see there is a pattern here? You have same thing, only last name changes 3 times, right?
Yeah, right.
Okay, let's first try to change this into how it was like this. Okay, so let's make this one as type, this one as ID, this one as value, and this one as big on change. So the same thing we are going to copy and paste it everywhere. Okay, cool. Now this will actually not work because this is not the same label component. So only thing that is left is the text. So what we will do is, for all these inputs, we'll just go up, copy this one, go down, enter, text, we give this way. Now we'll get rid of this line. We'll get rid of this line. It's gonna fail. So let's wait. We'll get rid of this line. Now let's go come back to here. Let's make it as label and let's save. Everything fine? Now if we type this one, this one, this one, this one, everything works. So we have already reduced the use of label tag and other tags. Okay, cool. Now what is the next thing that we are going to do? Still there are like loads of repetitions, right? So this text and ID can be the same, email and ID can be the same, password and ID can be the same. So all these things can be the same. So why can't I use a map function with an array? So first name, last name, email. For simplicity case, I'm gonna get rid of this space. Okay, password. So this is 4 different elements that I have got and I'm doing a map on them. So I'm gonna do a field and key. We need to give a key because React requires a key to be added for everything. So let's try adding this one. Okay, we are getting 4 first names. Okay, yeah, because it is evident that we have got this one. So before anything, let's give a key here. For the text, what we will do is we'll give the field. Input type, let's leave it as text. Already we are able to see the differences. ID, again, we will give the field. For the value, I want the field to be here. So I'm going to remove this, use an array bracket and add the field. So that if I type something, it's going to affect this as well. Do you see that?
Yeah.
Okay, now the only problem is the password. So the type needs to be, if field is password, then it should be password, else text. Okay, so if I type this works. Oh. I made something wrong. Right. This will work and this will work. The only problem here is these things will not work because everything is bound to the first name. Now, type something, it will all become last name. Okay. So this part needs to be also the field. So I can give us field. So if I type something, it's going to work perfectly. Cool. So both these things are getting connected. So now we can just get rid of these things. So that's one way of reducing the whole thing. Now look at this. We had like 80 lines of code, right? Boom. We've got like 40 lines of code. 50% gone.
Yeah.
Cool. And it works. Perfect. Nice. Now the next thing that we are going to do is there any way still we can compress this? Where are this first name, last name, email and password are coming? It's coming from this, right?
Yeah.
Just remove these things. We need you have an object in the state. So let's get the keys of this dot state. Does it work? Works.
Yeah.
You want to add a new value here? What new value you want to add?
Another mobile number we can add.
Mobile
Number.
Look at there.
Yeah.
So that's nice, but this is not getting added. Let's try to do something on that as well. Now we have got it in this format, right? So let's use a map again. So let's get rid of all these things. This dot state, okay, object dot keys, this dot state. So object dot keys is mainly used for getting the keys from this thing. Okay, dot map. So this is going to be the field. So each field, for each field, what I want is I need to put an enter dollar field. Okay, you got all these fields now, and then maybe give a /t or something like that and put hi. You're able to see this one, right? Okay, so /t /t then. Okay, so now in this point you can give the value of it. So field should be in the this dot state of field. Okay, now if I type something here, it's going to show me correctly here. Got it? So we don't need this much. So let's use it like this. Cool.
Yeah. Well, we can do some sorting and filtering.
Yes. Possible. Even that is possible. So more than that, another thing is also possible. Let's also reduce this part. So we already know that this is going to take this field kind of a thing, right?
Yeah.
So why can't we take this? I mean, like we can either take this on change outside. So we are already giving the value here. So on change handle change we will give. And for the handling change handler. So we know that obviously there is an e here. So let's add that. This way e.target dot we can use name. Okay, we already have the name, right? Look at that. That works. Boom. And we don't need this line again. Superb. Still more smaller. So we had 85 lines of code or 80 plus lines of code. Now it is just 46 lines.
Time saving.
Yes, time saving. It is very smaller as well, easy to maintain. Say for example, if you don't want this mobile phone here, if you remove it, it's going to remove from this, it's going to remove from this as well. Everywhere it is going to remove. So there you go. So yeah, so that's exactly what I wanted to show. And let me switch off my screen sharing. Yep. So what do you think?
Well, I think you did a great explanation. I'm sure people will find it useful here.
Yeah, I need to go ahead and try to answer out as much as possible, because we took it more than 40 minutes now. Sorry about that. I'm going to answer every single question, and don't worry. It's like I have already answered a lot of things in the comments, but yeah, so that's about it for today. And Nikita, this is your first time, right? So what do you think? How was it?
It's great.
Great. Would you like to do one more thing?
Yeah, one more time.
Let's do it. Awesome. Cool. Okay then. So have a nice day. And yeah, so I guess we will say a bye and leave. Bye.